Good evening. There are no frills, no flagship announcements and no sugar hits. Instead, the Treasurer is selling the state budget as targeted and responsible.
It includes a record package to provide cost of living relief, which critics have labelled a failure.
The last-minute scramble to make way for the stars of the budget runway. Armed and ready, set, go.
Good balance.
A flashy arrival for a no-frills budget in challenging times against a backdrop of global uncertainty and a big branded blue screen.
It's relief you can rely on. It's not sugar hits.
Delivering $9.3 billion for cost of living relief, the back-to-school boost to increase by 50% to $150 to help families pay for books, uniforms and excursions for primary school students. The electricity rebate scheme will increase to almost $400 for 700,000 vulnerable households. $200 sports vouchers have been locked in for another year. There's a freeze to bulk water prices, saving households $130, $8.8 million for free kindy health checks, and the $30,000 first homeowner grant has been extended.
This budget delivers the largest ongoing cost of living relief support package in Queensland's history.
There isn't a cost of living and housing package that will make a difference to families now.
Cash for Olympic-sized legacy projects is missing.
Right now, we're arm wrestling and driving down contract prices.
As first exposed by 7 News, the budget confirms Stage 2 of the Coomera Connector has been deserted. There's nothing in the books for future stages of the wave on the Sunshine Coast, despite 7 News revealing secret documents of an extra $5 billion price tag.
Where's the money for stages 2 and 3 of the wave?
Let me
insisting
the wave will be delivered.
Total debt, including government-owned corporations, will soar to eye-watering levels, hitting $216 billion over the forward estimates. There's an $8.8 billion budget deficit this year before a return to surplus of $619 million after the next election.
Because of stable revenue improvements, the careful management of expense growth and a growing Queensland economy.
The papers forecast taxes, royalties and GST will steadily rise. Local councils will be hit with a $10 annual waste levy increase from 2028, which is expected to generate more than $500 million over 4 years. Still, the Premier denies it's an increased tax.
No, it's not.
Doctors say the health spend of $35.5 billion has left them shortchanged.
We were hoping to see at least a 10% increase in healthcare funding.
The $23.1 billion for education will fund more teachers, teachers' aides and school chaplains, also announcing almost 140 extra workplace health and safety officers. $23 million will be used to recruit frontline police officers and almost $500 million for new and upgraded police stations.
This is a budget of bad news and blow-ups dressed up to look boring in the hope that nobody will notice.
Delivering the fresh start that Queenslanders voted for.
Well, families will have to wait until next year to receive the extra help for back-to-school costs. David Janetsky says the budget provides certainty in the face of volatility after federal tax changes and the war in Iran. But this budget is also about what has been left out, the big transport projects put on the back burner and facing delays. The price tag for each of the venues for the 2032 Games remains a mystery. The government says those numbers will eventually be released. It's unclear when.
Marlene Wap at State Parliament tonight. A senior Queensland police officer is facing disturbing claims he stalked multiple women. Garth Burley is following this story. Garth, the detective has been granted bail.
Max, we are expecting John Paul Daniel McDonald to walk out of the Brisbane Watch House behind us at any moment after he's granted strict release by a magistrate. The 36-year-old is accused of 16 charges against multiple women, allegations of stalking, common assault, computer hacking and misconduct in public office. The court heard today that he made a bogus Crime Stoppers complaint, and 7 News understands that during a raid he accessed a woman's phone and allegedly sent indecent images of her to himself. Now, it also heard from apparently one witness who said that he dangerously pulled out his Glock in front of her. Now, the police officer has 15 years experience. He is the son of a former assistant commissioner within ethical standards, ironically the same command that arrested him yesterday. Now, 7 News has spoken to police that say they know that this case will shake the foundations of the Queensland Police and the trust within the community. They're expecting that more charges may follow and there may be more victims, and every case it's understood that this officer has been involved with may be reviewed. Katrina.
All right, Garth Burley, thank you. The Army has joined a mammoth search for a missing magician on the Gold Coast hinterland. Troops arrived for a briefing this morning, joining police and SES crews at Mount Cougal in Springbrook National Park. 26-year-old Daniel Hidden has been missing since June 14. His car and caravan were found on Tuesday. His family remain at the search area, holding out hope he will be found alive.
Pauline Hanson's explanation of monoculture has lit a fire under the Albanese government, fresh off a deal to pass its tax changes. The Prime Minister has slammed One Nation's vision as nonsense and criticised the opposition for not having one.
One Nation wants an Australia with one culture.
Japan has a monoculture. So what's wrong with Australia have a monoculture?
And what is that monoculture?
We're multiracial, but at the end of the day, we must look at being Australians. And instead of all these different little individual groups who believe in their own cultures.
Slashing migrant numbers, making English language mandatory, restricting the number of mosques, centring on Judeo-Christian values.
Do we really want to see Sharia law? Do we want to see multiple marriages? Do we want to see these gangs getting around our streets with machetes? That's not the Australian way of life.
Modern Australia is not a monoculture, and it never has been.
Inside the Parliament,
this is a pining for a time that has never existed.
Insisting Australia has been multicultural since British settlement.
The First Fleet had people in chains and people were in charge. Had Protestants and Catholics.
Coalition leader Angus Taylor asked several times if he supported a monoculture.
You explain to me what you mean by that. You see, there's all these vague words running around.
The government accusing him of chasing voters who are abandoning the Liberals for One Nation.
This rubbish, playing footsie with the monoculture language being pushed around by the One Nation party.
What do voters think of a monoculture?
What do you mean by that?
Told it's a One Nation policy.
Pauline Hanson, good on you, mate.
As the government claims victory on its central budget bill, the capital gains tax and negative gearing changes set to pass the Senate on Thursday with the Greens backing. In return, the government agreeing to another 8-week inquiry into the NDIS cuts.
We've managed to stop the NDIS bill passing the Parliament this fortnight.
But it's likely it will pass in August once the inquiry's over with coalition support.